so excited that for the last presenter of 2022, got a brother that I had the pleasure of meeting about a month ago and had heard so much about and was fortunate to now be able to put a name with a face. And since that's happened, I can assure you that I'm the kind of brother that now that I got you, I don't let you go. That's just me, right? So I'm just telling you. So, and again, I appreciate you blessing us with a few minutes today. And truly, without further ado, because I don't want to take up much time, the floor is yours. So share with us whatever you got.
Man, I appreciate you having me. It's an honor to be able to get on here and kind of share my story and hopefully bless everybody that's in attendance. We've watched, so it's funny, Trissy's like, hey, you need to check out Ben Baker. He has this thing called Rise and Grind. You need to check it out. And this is before you invited me to come and speak. I was like, all right, yeah, I'll check it out. No, it's really good. It's really good content. Like, it's, different agents come on there and I was like, okay, all right, I'll check it out. I promise I'll check it out. So it's truly an honor to be able to, come on and share. Like I said, I've been in real estate for, in April, it'll be 20 years. And my story is a little bit different than probably a lot of people have heard. I always call it like a rags to riches story, and then from surviving to thriving type story. So going back to I've been in real estate since 2003, and I really didn't hit my stride until 2011, and that's when I took Bold. If you look behind Trissy, we have Bold posters all around the office. And it's just a kind of a reminder of what I went through. And just kind of give you like a background of what that looks like. When I went through Bold, someone paid for me to go through it because I was broke. But when I went through it, I had a breakdown. And one of the biggest breakdowns that I had is being broke, right? So, and if you guys probably don't remember, but they used to have a little exercise where everybody brings $20 in ones, and you lay on the floor, you rain down money, and it's money comes to me easily and all that good stuff. Well, at the time, I had $2 in my account. I think it was $2.47 in my account, right? And I couldn't go and get $20 because I had a little bit of gas to get to Bold, but I didn't have money for anything else. Didn't have the cash to bring, so I was just going to miss out on this experience, whatever they told us to do. And at the end of the day, when it was time to do this experiment, there was two of us that didn't do it, and there was a lady. And I'm a coach by nature. I've coached football, basketball. I've coached agents. I've done a lot of different coaching, and so when it came to the point of us getting down there and it was our turn, she said I didn't want to do it because. She was a bigger lady, and she was afraid she wouldn't be able to get up. Me being, 6'4", at the time, 225, I was like, hey, listen, I'll get you up. Don't worry about it. I'll squat. Don't worry about that. I got you. But I became overwhelmed with emotion watching her getting all this. I'm looking around. I'm seeing like some people brought, $100 in ones. Some people brought $40 in ones because they had excess. I didn't have anything, and all I could think about is, man, I just would like a couple of these bucks to put in the gas tank, or maybe to grab some food for, my wife or what have you. And so being overcome with emotion, I ran out of the room and I ran to the top of the building, not to the top floor, but to the roof of the building. And I was just looking out and cried like I was 3 years old, being spanked by both my mom and my dad. Like it was rough because I didn't feel worthy of being able to participate. And in that moment, they talk about your financial thermostat. And if you don't believe that you can make it, then you'll never get it, right? So second part to that story is your boy was hungry. Like I said, I'm 6'4", 200 plus, I gotta eat. So they were serving free lunch. So I had to fix my face and make my way back downstairs so I can grab a bite to eat. Only to be met by the lady that was like, hey, I was on the floor and I was looking for you and I couldn't get up. And so now that's another stab in the heart because, when I was there, I love helping people, but I was at a point to where I because of myself being in a way, because of my messed up financial thermostat, I couldn't help the person who I promised that I was going to help, right? And I never wanted to be in that position again. And so I had a breakdown. And they always say you have a breakdown before you have a breakthrough. And in this market, the reason I tell that story is because in this market, it's different. You know, at first quarter, I was, you know, looking back on some of the other rise and grinds, and, you know, first quarter, you know, it was different. We can go and get a listing in 24 hours, it was gone. Over ask, and we get to market and advertise that I did this, I did that. And, you know, a lot of us are really loving life because of the market. First quarter, we got our fours up now. Like, you know, in football and basketball, we get hyped fourth quarter, no matter if we down or we up. It's fourth quarter, it's time to work. We're about to kill it now. Right, throw your fours up. But I tell that story because it took a breakdown. It took hard times for me to realize that I didn't want to deal. I never wanted to be in a position to where I wasn't able to give. You know, later on, I was asked for some money because when you're in real estate, they automatically assume that you're rich, right? I was asked for some money and I wasn't able to do it. And it made me feel real bad, right? So I go from, you know, when I was a kid, I was poor. You know, we grew up, we had holes in our roof. We oftentimes, we didn't have water. We didn't have running water. There was times that we had to live in the shelter. There's a lot of different things that we went through and dealt with that I was, you know, I've been fortunate not to have to deal with as an adult, right? And so looking in the real estate market, I'm like, you know what am I good at? What could I tell people to help them navigate through this, you know, crazy time that we're dealing in, right? In 2020, we was like, it's a crazy market. In 2021, we're like, this is a crazy time we're in. But now that it's gotten a little bit more normal, a lot of the newer agents are like, man, this, you start seeing people drop like flies. Everybody's going to get another job and, you know, trying to figure out what, you know, why did I really get into real estate in the first place and all this type of stuff. And so coming from a spot to where I've been in real estate for so long, and understanding that it's a season, it's a phase. It's crazy that, you know, we all live in seasons and phases, you know, winter, spring, summer, fall. We, in marriage, there are seasons, there's times when you absolutely love your wife, and there's times you want to kick her with both feet out of the bed. There's like in business, there's seasons. So there's going to always be seasons. And we have to realize that some people's going to thrive, and some people in the spots where they're just surviving, they're trying to survive until the next season, right? And so some of those things that we do to make sure that we go from, it's okay at some point to say, you know what, I'm just surviving. If I can get through this month and get to next month, I know I got some closings down the pipe, but how do I survive this month? And what do I do in this season to make sure that, you know what, I'm not giving up? Because we've seen those memes where we say, okay, well, you know, the guy is, you know, got his axe and he's chopping at the tree and he's finally giving up. And the tree, you know, the gold was on the other side, the diamonds was on the other side, but they gave up just a little bit too early. And that's where a lot of people are at. It's like, you know what, you know, where can I get another stream of income, because real estate's just not doing it, right? And really, it's all about going back to the basics, right? So a lot of times we get excited about some of the flashy objects and some of the really great things that's out there. Like, first thing that come to mind is like 72 sold. You have KW Luxury. You have, you know, some of these other things that 199 you to death. But, you know, really it's about going back to the basics, you know, looking at the MREA. And there's some basics, some fundamentals that'll make sure that we go from, you know, just trying to figure it out to surviving. And then from just surviving to actually thriving in a market like this, right? So, you know, think about, you know, the 3 L's: leads, listings, and leverage, right? So it's easy to throw out that whole listing philosophy, especially when you have a couple of listings that's sitting on the market for, you know, 30, 40, 60. We just got 2 contracts accepted today, and both of them are on the market for 120 and 154 days, right? So going back and thinking about it, okay, do I go away from listings? Oh, that's one of the foundations. That's one of the foundational pieces. Now you can go and find some buyers and supplement your income, because, you know, if they make a decision, you can buy something right now. But those listing agents, one, dictate how much they're getting paid, right? And then they also, are establishing themselves as the inventory in the market. Right. So yeah, we're still lead generating for listings. Right. We're still looking for leads. Right. Where are the leads coming from nowadays? It's not necessarily going out and buying leads because we're supposed to lead with revenue. Right. So there's a lot of play. I get spam. I'm pretty sure everybody else does too. They get spam in your inbox. Hey, are you looking for more business? Are you looking to ramp up your business in 2023? Right? I mean, you have seen that. Are you thinking about, making a change? Do you want more business, more leads? We can guarantee you X amount of leads, right? But where I've made my staple, I would say in real estate, is building relationships, right? Really simple, building relationships through networking, building relationships, and then that networking doesn't stop with our COI or our sphere. It goes outside with realtors. We've built, and I've taught other realtors to build a network with other realtors around the country, right? Because if you have somebody who's moving, wouldn't it be awesome to connect them with another real estate agent and get a referral fee off of that? And so I was on a call with Emmerich and Mahogany and some other people yesterday, and they were talking about BPOs and REOs, and back in 2008, that was the thing. Everybody was going and doing BPOs because they were trying to supplement incomes. But that's like $50, $75, $100 a pop. What if I just built a relationship with a realtor, and instead of looking at doing BPOs, getting out of the business, I just build this relationship, and now I'm getting 25% or 30% or 20, whatever it is, of this relationship that I built with this client, and connecting them with another relationship that I built with them. Right. So it goes back to leads, referrals, listings, and then leverage. So once we figure it out and we get to the point of thriving, now it's like, okay, well, maybe I need some help. I need some help at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at. My journey, it's been kind of like, okay, well, I'm not selling 200, 300 homes a year, by myself. And at one point, I really didn't want to. I just wanted to get to a point to where I could provide for my family. If I made six figures, I was good. And, I got a house, the car, kids are cool. So it wasn't about, trying to scale and be this great real estate agent. Now it's more so like, okay, you know what? I'm good. How many more people can I help, do better, right? So even my team structure is set up to where my agents can make more than me, right? It's set up to a point to where it's not all about me. It's about how can we help each other. And my business model is the more people that I help, so for instance, AJ's on the call, Trissy's on the call, Pat, Tanisha's on the call. If I help all of them achieve their goals, then how many more people would I have ready, willing, and able to assist me in helping me achieve my goals? Right? So it's not about the results that I get for myself, but it's about how many more people, how good of a steward am I being with the gift that God's given, right? And that's really basically where I live life for now. So now it's about finding my potential, right? So before it was like, I need to survive. When I took that bold class, I made $16,000 a year. And I thought I was balling. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, I had just purchased a house, my first house, and I was only making 16 grand, but my financial thermostat, after I figured it out, wouldn't allow me to make no more than $30,000 a year. And in my head, as a kid, I thought that $30,000 was a lot of money. So you couldn't tell me that, like, my dad, he stopped going to school because they had 21 brothers and sisters, and he had to go to work. I know, right? Yeah. He had 21 brothers and sisters. Can you imagine? But he stopped. He stopped going to school in elementary school to start helping make money for the house. Right? So he didn't get a high school education. My mom had a nervous breakdown. She had a mental issue, so she couldn't work after a certain period of time. So we didn't have a whole lot. So my financial thermostat was based on how we grew up. And so even now, I've had to go through exercise after exercise to bring that financial thermostat up. I never thought that I'd be able to make $100,000. Right now, I can't imagine not making $200,000. You know, so it's about like realizing where you've come from, where you're at, and then now what's the potential for future growth? What's my potential? I think that we all create a artificial stopping point. I heard this statistic that babies are born with two fears. So when we all come in this world, we come in this world with two fears. One is the fear of falling, right? Everybody's had that dream where they're falling, they're scared, right? And the other one is, what was the other fear? There's the fear of falling. I can't remember the other fear, but basically everything else is learned, right? So if you reverse that and you look at it and you say, okay, well, what's my potential? A lot of us don't know because we've placed limits on ourselves, right? So, man, I can, you know, if I make $30,000, I'm good, right? I'm balling at $16,000 a year. But now I'm like, okay, wait, if I can get to $100,000, now we talk about the ceiling of achievement, and then we talk about go from E to P, entrepreneurial to purposeful. There are some ceilings that have to be broken down before we even get to that point, right? And so I would challenge everybody like this on the call or that'll watch it later to find out what your ceiling of achievement is, not only in real estate, but in your personal life, because I couldn't get past the point that I was at in only selling, 5 to 12 houses a year to the point to where I'm at now, to building teams and groups and all that type of stuff until I figured out, one, where my ceiling of achievement lied financially before I can go into business, right? So we think about, even thinking about the models, we talk about lead generation, the budget model. How am I going to have a budget model if I'm only okay with making $16,000 a year? Or if I'm only okay with making $30,000 a year? There is no way, if I had a ceiling of making $30,000 or $100,000 a year, that Tracy would even be okay with being close to where I'm at. Like, she's like, no, I'm not. I'm cool with being on the team, right? So to have other high net worth individuals to share the space that we share, then you have to surround yourself with the mindset that, one, I'm worth it. So I'm worth, more than 16,000, 30,000, 100,000. I'm worth more than 10 deals. And then start putting in the work, remembering the fundamentals, the 6 personal perspectives, focusing on the 20%. And a lot of this stuff is really simple, but we make it difficult. They say success is simple, not easy. But a lot of times we make it so, convoluted and so difficult. We're like, okay, well, where am I going to get, how am I going to sell 100 houses a year? That's a lot. It really isn't. It's just, really getting our mindset to the space. Okay, you know what? I've been at this ceiling of selling, 40 houses. What can I do to get to the point to selling more? Right? Okay, foundation, going back to leads. Where am I going to get these leads from? How many relationships do I have to create to make certain? Because I know that there's a formula that says, for every 12 contacts, I should be able to get a unit of business if it's in my sphere, versus every 50 contacts of unmets, I can get a unit of business, right? So how am I going to create those relationships? I just went to the acupuncturist this morning and invited her to one of our networking meetings and building a relationship. You know what I'm saying? So don't want to go over too. I don't know what my time looks like.
Brother, you're good. You're good. So I appreciate you bringing it. And again, it might have been Karen or someone says, thank you for being transparent. And I think so many people here need to hear sometimes that even you, you're a big dude, right? That no, you're vulnerable and you can be transparent. And I'm a very sensitive brother, and I don't even apologize for it anymore. So don't bring me anything sensitive because I'll cry with you. Right.
Right.
So again, I appreciate you bringing us the message, because I can tell you someone on the call needed to hear it. And I can tell you, for someone, first of all, you just touched on two things. Success is simple, not easy. That's my favorite bold quote, right?
Yeah.
And my best buddy's on the call. She's beat me. I think she's been in bold probably 17 times. I just completed, I think, number 14. And I do it because it's benefited and blessed me every time I've taken it. Thank goodness the material has changed, and yet I've changed every time I've taken it, and that's the reason why I'm there, right? So,
Absolutely.
thank you for sharing that. So,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I believe that it's in the transparency that that we learn, and you're always like, okay, as a dad, I'm always like, you know what, I messed up right here. I don't want you to mess up right here, right? If you're gonna mess up somewhere else where I didn't mess up. And even Bible, and I could sit here and I could like quote like half the Bible, but it even says that we overcome by the words of our testimony, right? So I could tell you like how many homes I sold, all the deals that I've done. I don't even really post like closings like that anymore, because as realtors, I'm supposed to sell houses, but you probably see most of my kids because that's where that's where my heart is at, right? But yeah, it's in the transparency that we overcome, and that other agents and other people like myself. So you know what, I'm in that space where he was at, where I wasn't making too much, or I grew up poor and broke, and it's hard for me to get through. Listen, I was telling my niece, your uncle messed up. I blew $35,000 in a weekend because I didn't know what to do with money when I first got it. Right, I made 35 grand and I blew 34 of it between Friday and Sunday because I was like, listen, I got this money and I'm about to go spend it. Somebody's getting them. Somebody's getting these ones. But at the end of the day, I had to learn from that and realize that that's not serving a real purpose, right? And my purpose on this earth, I believe, is to reconcile people to Christ. And while doing that, enjoy my life, having fun, so other people want to do the same type of thing.
powerful. That's powerful. That's powerful. I can tell you one other message I heard is that we need to, and again, everybody on the call is family to me, right? So especially as a black man, right? I think your beginnings were similar to mine in that my financial thermostat was so low that I was happy doing, a certain number. And thank goodness that number has changed. And it's changed because of, the professionals and the friends that I have now in my circle. I think that, again, we all need to flock. And it was one reason why I created this, because I wanted a community of eagles that all fly together, right? And my brother, you are a lead eagle on this. I appreciate you just for sharing. I appreciate you guys for jumping on each and every week, being so consistent, because I can tell you that we will all grow together in this. We've got agents here who are not with Keller Williams. They're family to me, and I don't give a damn who you're with. That doesn't matter to me, right? What I love is to see us all grow, all share, all learn together, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure we're all standing at the top and we're slapping high fives. You know what? And we've been a shining example of what the good Lord wants us to be and do. And you are that. You are that, man. So thank you. Anything else as we leave and get ready now to go hopefully serve someone and also enjoy the holidays, which are like right around the corner. It's crazy. Here they are. So
yeah, man. The only thing I'll leave you with is continue to work and enjoy what you do, because when you enjoy it, then it's really not work. And then you're not showing up with buyers and sellers with what we call commission breath. Like, oh man, I'm hungry. And I'll do it. And they can feel, and they can sense that, like, okay, they're just working for the money. So remember why you got in it and enjoy doing it, and it'll give it, real estate will give itself back to you. So.
Amen. It will. Guys, thank you so much. And I will look forward to seeing you guys after a very happy holiday season spent with friends and loved ones and family. And that's all I got. I'm so humble and appreciative of everyone. And we'll see you soon.
Have a good one. Thanks again.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.